America faces a quiet but devastating crisis, one that doesn't make headlines but affects millions of lives every single day. It's not a natural disaster or a sudden economic crash, but something far more insidious and persistent. The vanishing emergency fund is leaving families across the country exposed and vulnerable. As savings dwindle, the financial safety net that once offered peace of mind is quickly unraveling. According to the Urban Institute, 1 in 3 Americans now has no emergency savings at all. That means millions are living paycheck to paycheck with nothing set aside for the unexpected. For many, even a small surprise expense can feel like a mountain to climb. The median emergency fund has dropped to just $500, $100 less than last year. That's not just a statistic, it's a sign of growing financial fragility. With inflation and rising costs, that $500 doesn't go nearly as far as it once did. Today, $500 barely covers a minor car repair, let alone a true emergency like a medical bill, a broken appliance, or a sudden job loss. For many, a single unexpected expense can set off a chain reaction of debt and stress. Rising costs for essentials like food, rent, and healthcare mean paychecks don't stretch as far as they used to. Families are forced to make impossible choices. Do they pay the rent or buy groceries, fill a prescription, or put gas in the car? These are the daily dilemmas facing millions. Even basic utilities can become a source of anxiety as overdue bills pile up and families scramble to keep the lights on. The stress of living on the edge takes a toll on mental and physical health, creating a cycle that's hard to break. Without a safety net, even a flat tire or sudden illness can spiral into financial disaster. A trip to the emergency room or a car breakdown can mean choosing between going into debt or going without something essential. For a third of the nation, every day is a high-wire act with no net below. The constant fear of falling, of not being able to provide for your family, shadows every decision. The absence of emergency savings turns small setbacks into major crises. What might be a minor inconvenience for some becomes a life-altering event for others. This is the harsh reality for millions of American households, a daily struggle to stay afloat with little room for error and no cushion to soften life's inevitable blows. For years, the rule was simple: save 3 months of living expenses for emergencies. This advice was based on the assumption that if you lost your job or faced an unexpected expense, you could get back on your feet within 3 months. It was a safety net designed for a different time, but today that advice is outdated. The economic landscape has changed dramatically, and so have the challenges we face. The average job search now takes 4 months, not 3. This means that if you only have 3 months of savings, you could find yourself in a precarious situation before you secure new employment. A 3-month fund leaves families exposed, forcing them into debt or drastic sacrifices. This can lead to a cycle of financial instability that is hard to break. Financial experts now recommend at least 6 months of expenses saved, more for those in unstable jobs or single-income homes. This larger cushion provides a more realistic buffer against the uncertainties of today's job market. If your monthly essentials are $3,000, the new target is $18,000, not $9,000. This might seem daunting, but it's a necessary adjustment to ensure you can weather longer periods of unemployment or unexpected expenses. It's a tough goal, but it reflects today's economic risks. Building a larger savings fund requires discipline and sacrifice, but the peace of mind it offers is invaluable. The cost of living keeps rising, and job security is less certain than ever. Inflation, housing costs, and healthcare expenses are all climbing, making it harder to stretch a dollar. The old goalposts have moved. Our saving strategies must move with them. We need to adapt to the new financial realities to protect ourselves and our families. True security now means planning for longer, tougher storms. By adjusting our savings goals, we can better prepare for whatever the future holds, ensuring that we have the resources to navigate through difficult times. The median $500 emergency fund is a dangerous illusion. Most emergencies aren't catastrophic, they're routine, like car repairs or broken appliances. A new set of tires can cost $800 or more, a refrigerator over $1,000. For many, a single repair wipes out their entire savings. Even a month's groceries for a family can exceed $500. When paychecks are delayed or cut, that small fund vanishes fast. The $500 safety net shatters at the first real-world emergency. Families are left exposed, vulnerable, and one step from crisis. Financial stress isn't just about money, it's a health crisis. Americans' mental and physical health are at their lowest in decades, with financial insecurity a major cause. Only 75% now rate their mental health as good or excellent, down sharply from a decade ago. Stress from lack of savings leads to anxiety, insomnia, and even chronic illness. Many delay medical care because they can't afford it, turning small problems into big ones. In 2024, Americans borrowed $74 billion just to pay medical bills. Nearly a third fear a health crisis could bankrupt them. Living without savings means living in constant dread of the next bill. Financial insecurity doesn't affect everyone equally. For women and young adults, the burden is often heavier and the consequences more severe. These groups are at the front line of economic uncertainty, facing unique challenges that make it harder to get ahead or even stay afloat. Young people today are entering a workforce that looks very different from that of previous generations. Many are stuck with stagnant wages, juggling multiple part-time or gig jobs just to make ends meet. The rise of contract work and the decline of stable full-time positions mean that benefits like health insurance and paid leave are often out of reach. On top of that, student debt continues to climb, making the dream of financial independence feel more distant than ever. The mental health toll is staggering. Only 15% of women aged 18 to 29 now report excellent mental health, a dramatic drop in just a decade. The constant stress of trying to keep up, pay bills, and plan for the future is taking a visible toll on their well-being. Women in particular are more likely to work in lower-paying jobs, often in sectors like retail, caregiving, and hospitality. The gender pay gap persists, meaning women earn less for the same work. Many also shoulder the majority of caregiving duties at home, balancing work with raising children or caring for elderly relatives. For mothers, the pressure is even greater. Mental health among mothers is declining, with 1 in 12 now rating their mental health as fair or poor. The emotional and financial strain of trying to provide for their families, often on a single income, can feel overwhelming. These mounting pressures make it nearly impossible for many to save for emergencies or the future. Every unexpected expense, whether it's a medical bill, car repair, or rent increase, can push families to the brink, amplifying stress and hardship. For a single mom or a young worker living paycheck to paycheck, a $500 emergency isn't just a setback. It's a full-blown crisis that can threaten housing, health, and stability. This cycle of financial precarity doesn't just affect individuals, it ripples through families and communities, deepening hardship and passing it from one generation to the next. Children growing up in financially insecure households face their own set of challenges, making it even harder to break free from the cycle. As these groups fall further behind, inequality grows, and the gap between those who are secure and those who are struggling continues to widen. The impact is profound, shaping lives and futures in ways that are impossible to ignore. Even higher earners aren't immune to today's financial pressures. Rising costs and lifestyle inflation are shrinking savings even for those with six-figure incomes. Median emergency savings for well-off workers dropped $5,000 in just a year. Expenses are rising faster than paychecks, eroding the safety net. Many spend raises on bigger homes or cars, not savings, leaving them just as vulnerable. With inflation set to rise and wages lagging, even high earners struggle to save. The shrinking savings of the well-off signals deeper economic fragility. Income alone is no longer a shield against financial insecurity. Many Americans rely on credit cards as their emergency plan, but this safety net is risky. High interest rates turn small debts into long-term burdens. A $1,000 emergency can balloon with 20% interest, trapping families in debt. Credit limits can be slashed or accounts closed without warning, especially after job loss. When emergencies hit, desperate borrowing can wreck credit and deepen the hole. Credit cards are a tool, not a substitute for real savings. Building your financial house on credit is building on sand. You don't need $18,000 to feel more secure. Just start with what you can. Research shows that even $2,000 in savings boosts well-being by 21%. That small cushion covers a car repair or medical bill, reducing stress and anxiety. As savings grow, so does peace of mind. Each dollar saved is an investment in your mental health and stability. Focus on small milestones: $500, then $1,000, then $2,000. Every step forward makes life's shocks less overwhelming. True security is built one small, empowering step at a time. In today's world, financial security needs a new definition. Start by setting a realistic goal: 6 months of essential expenses. Calculate your monthly must-haves: housing, food, transportation, insurance, and multiply by 6. Break that big number into small, manageable savings targets. Automate your savings, even if it's just $25 per paycheck. As your income grows, increase your savings rate. Expect setbacks. Emergencies will happen, and that's what your fund is for. Don't get discouraged. Focus on rebuilding and celebrating small wins. Financial security isn't just about money, it's about resilience and peace of mind. It's the freedom to live with less fear and more confidence. That's a goal worth fighting for.